This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for February 24, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, man charged with the murder of teen granted bail of $800,000. A man charged with the murder of a teen at the Cornwall courts in St. James has been granted bail in the sum of $800,000. 22-year-old Godfrey Brown, otherwise called Nico, of Salt Spring in the parish, was granted bail following a successful application by his attorney, Shernika Jackson. The application was made before presiding parish judge Sasha Marie Smith Ashley. During Thursday's sitting, the clerk of court informed the court that the post-mortem report was outstanding and they sought the extra time to put the document on file. According to court documents, on October 26 of last year, 18-year-old Nicardo Gray of Cornwall Courts was on the road in front of a friend's house at the complex when Brown, who had a firearm, went outside to greet him. An explosion was heard and Brown was heard saying, "Me never mean to shoot a dog, never know say one in the head." Brown then fled the scene. Shortly after, Gray was seen lying on the ground with a gunshot wound to the right side of his face. He was rushed to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. On Thursday, Brown was granted bail on condition that he reported to a specific police station on fixed days each week and reside at a specified address in the parish. He is to return to court on March 23. Dismal turnout in St. James for Todd's talks on new road rules. Cabbies in St. James on Thursday stayed away from a town hall meeting organized by the Transport Operators Development and Sustainable Services to discuss the new Road Traffic and Regulations Act. A dejected Todd's president, Edgerton Newman, said an effort would be made to reschedule, but conceded he has no way of knowing if the numbers would improve. Of the 10 people who showed up, only one was a taxi operator. The rest were from Todd's state agencies and the political sphere. "I am a little bit sad. I am a little bit down because I thought this was going to be maybe not the largest, but a powerful turnout of today's discussions. Unfortunately, it is not so," Newman said from the almost empty Mount Salem Community Center in Montego Bay. The meeting was supposed to be the fifth in a series of discussions designed to get reactions to the act, which came into effect on February 1. Held under the theme "Ready for the Road Under New Law and Order," the event was expected to join transport operators in talks with representatives from the St. James Municipal Corporation, the Parish Police, the Road Safety Unit in the Ministry of Transport and Mining, and the Todd's legal team. The series of meetings come ahead of Todd's planned submission to the government of its list of concerns about the act. Submissions have to be made within 3 months of the act being rolled out. Vice President of Todd's Dwight Pusey said the government asked the group for feedback and the island-wide consultations were a way to get a wide cross-section of views. Deputy Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Richard Vernon of the Jamaica Labour Party Montego Bay South Division, was among those who expressed displeasure at the low turnout Thursday afternoon. "I am a little bit disappointed that we don't have the cohort that are most vocal where the legislative changes are concerned here with us this afternoon," he said. He commended Todd's for the initiative, indicating that the government is willing to listen to their concerns. "We ensure that it is an inclusive process, and this is one way in which that inclusion is facilitated. So it is very important that our stakeholders turn out to a meeting like this so they can participate in the process of their own governance," said Vernon. His colleague in the St. James Municipal Corporation, Councillor Kerry Thomas of the People's National Party, Mount Salem Division, also expressed his full support of the consultations. "People and the government should be able to come together and understand some basic terms and understand that these are the guidelines to stay within because it will keep you protected and safe," he said. "I am very disappointed being in the second city and the attendance is practically zero taxi operators. Whatever the reason for that disconnect, it is something that you have to resolve," he added. Claims UWI student could pull out of torture case not true, says lawyer. King's Counsel Peter Champagny on Wednesday described as false the claims that a 19-year-old female student of the University of the West Indies, who was allegedly tortured by her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Hyde, on campus, has intentions of ditching the case. Hyde, who is 20 years old, was charged with assault occasioning grievous bodily harm, false imprisonment, use of malicious communication, and assault occasioning bodily harm. In public circles, it has been widely speculated that the victim had indicated a change of heart. However, Champagne, who is representing Hyde, told the news that he had received no formal indication of such and said it was merely gossip. Certainly, that has not been indicated to me in any formal process. This is just a vicious rumor that is circulating without any foundation whatsoever. If that were so, I would have been served with a further statement from her. There is absolutely no merit to it, and it is without a foundation, Champagne stated. On February 16, when Hyde made his first appearance in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court, Champagne argued for more time to peruse the statements in the matter. Hyde was ordered to return to court on March 9, at which time Champagne will apply for bail. The allegations are that Hyde held his ex-girlfriend captive for at least 3 days in his room at the Georgia Lane Hall at the UWI. While he kept her there, it is also alleged that, among other things, he tortured her by using a hot iron to burn her all over her body. She was finally set free on February 9. Educators overwhelmed by increased violence in schools seize jobs. The Jamaica Association of Principals and Secondary Schools says that the island's teachers and school administrators are being overwhelmed by an increase in violent incidents in schools. The Kingston Western Police arrested and charged 4 students last week in relation to acts of violence at Denham Town High School. The Ministry of Education has expressed a concern about the increase in violence in schools and is drafting measures to deal with the crisis. JAB's President Linvern Wright is of the view that the violence being played out in communities across the island is what is being reflected in schools.
It has to be a national effect. I don't think they can arrest it in school, because what happens in school is a microcosm of what is happening in the rest of society. So if you check our public spaces, there's no discipline there. Driving on the road, there's no discipline there. In the home, there's no discipline there. Communities are, violence is just spreading in communities. If these children have places that come to school, schools are really supposed to be nurturing them in learning and understanding how these things can help in the rest of society. But what we're having is that is the rest of society not reinforcing the kinds of things that we are trying to say to them. These are the things that make for a good citizen. But as I said, it's overwhelming, so it will look to the spilling over and just getting worse. One of the things that we have proposed is that we need to have some special schools for many of these children which have concentrated in them the resources. So the psychiatrists, not the psychologists, the psychiatrists, the counselors in terms of ratio, if you need police there to actually deal with some of them, to have the kinds of teachers who are specially trained to deal with many of them, and the facilities, if it is that you find that they are recalcitrant or delinquent and you really need to have the kind of therapy for them to help them with that. And the truth is that a number of these children are coming from homes that they have adverse childhood experiences. And a school where the adverse childhood experiences have been such in the communities they come from, to actually nurture them into these delinquent behaviors. A school can't do it in 6 months or 2 weeks or one. It has to be a concerted and sustained effort over time in an institution that is equipped to deal with these matters.
Barnesville says the delay of local government polls robbing people of representation. People's National Party councillor Cian Barnesville says that the postponement of the local government election is robbing people of proper representation. The government on Tuesday used its majority to pass a legislation in the House of Representatives to delay the polls until next February. But Mr. Barneswell believes the move has stripped the electorate of the right to remove underperforming councillors and to fill current vacancies. He noted that there are more than 10 divisions without a councillor at this time due to either death, expulsion, or ascension to the House of Representatives.
Since the last local government election in 2016, we have had over 10 vacancies in divisions as a result of deaths, expulsion, and ascension to the Member of Parliament or to Parliament. These divisions, the people are without proper representation, and they need to be given their constitutional right to choose their councillor. What this has done is a dictatorship at large, one which is now saying to the people of Jamaica that we have no regards for the Constitution. And it has also deprived the people to relieve themselves by way of voting out those councillors who are not performing or whatever the reason is.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.